Hello everybody and welcome to another week on X4, the beta, the public beta. Beta 5 is now out. It's been out for just under a week, but obviously time constraints mean that I can only get these out to you a little bit later. So without further ado, let's get into beta 5 and what it brings us. We have got a little special request actually from the developers this time. It's a feedback request, new standard input profile for controllers. So if you are a controller user, then make sure you do check out the actual post, because there is a feedback request on the new input profile for it. At the beginning of the 7.0 public beta, they mentioned that they had introduced a customizable radial menu, which we've seen and we've made a few comments on already, for quick access to actions in the game. This is designed to make X4 more accessible and enjoyable for players who use controllers. Generally, that's what a radial menu is better for. Not a great massive thing for us keyboard players, but still handy to have sometimes. It's more accessible for players who use controllers, joysticks and HOTAS devices. I haven't used it on my HOTAS yet, but I will do at some stage. So if you are using that, then consider giving them some feedback on it. So please test this feature and share your feedback in the Egosoft forum thread. Thank you in advance from the developers. Again, if you want to know how to take part in the public beta, then make sure you check out my video that does explain how to get involved. Well, let's talk about the changelog. So, we've got a new game start. Added the Wayward Scion game start. Don't know what it is? Gonna check it out. That will be in a separate video during the week, so make sure you check that out. Added an option to disable the automatic reset of the VE goggles. New feature in 7.0. So we've had a look at the VE goggles, which is basically a variable zoom. It can zoom out, and it basically enhances. It's a variable enhance, I believe it stands for. Added and basically you can add it where it automatically disables the automatic reset of it. Added the option to adjust the intensity of the UI glow. I actually thought they'd already done that. Maybe I might be mistaken in that. It might have been a case of they had added the option to remove it and not, but I thought you could adjust the intensity of it. But there we go. So that's a new feature apparently added in beta 5. The adjustment is added a configurable word basket for station-based miners. Again, another feature in 7.0. Added a new default controller profile. We've obviously mentioned that. So that's the new additions to the beta 5. A lot of new additions overall, which is amazing. What have they removed? There's been a lot of... Overall, actually, throughout the whole of beta 5, there's been a lot of additions, which is surprising. And the same has been said for removing as well. And we are going to... As a matter of fact, we've also got another one for a feedback request, which I've missed, which I'll go back to in a second. There we go. So we have removed the message ticker rotation while shown on top of menu. That's pretty cool. I removed the message ticker appearing for normal messages while menus are open. Again, new feature in 7.0. They've improved the high-speed carrier undocking. That's better because it was still quite slow for us. Improved the capital ship combat movement. That's a further improvement. They've improved the flee behavior of player intervenes with order to dock. So basically, if you've got someone under attack, and I believe it's whilst they're docking, you can intervene and tell them to flee. That should be much more improved now. Improve the UI colour differentiation between Realm of the Trinity and the Kartak factions. Good. Improve the colour variation of paint mods on Talada E-ships. We'll have to have a look into that at some stage. Improve the icons for various ship types. Haven't seen that yet, but we'll have a look into that at some stage. Improve the data leak visuals. Again, something we're going to have to probably have a look at once everything's settled down. This is just the reading out of the changelog, so we will go into some details throughout actually visually seeing all these changes at some stage. Fix the final basic tutorial recommending playing timelines if extension is not enabled. Basically, what I think that means is at the moment it would recommend you to play the timelines extension. However, if you've not got it enabled, it will now recommend you something else. Fix the dial booster not being available to talk to continue Hattikvar story. To continue the Hattikvar story. Dial booster's always got a lot of problems. Fix the falling through floor in certain situations. Not seen that myself, but that's annoying. Fixed moving characters sometimes adopting the T-pose when interrupting turning animation. Now, if I remember how animations work, the actual characters are designed in a T-shape, as in the arms are out and the legs are straight down, and that's how you work with the animation. And then obviously you bring in the bending of the points and the joints. So obviously it's adopted its basic form. Fix the player being left behind when NPC activates the transporter. Okay, so that has happened before in previous versions, and they fixed it again. Fix the ejected NPC pilots not speaking. Yeah, that's annoying. Fix the name of Crane E. Fix the hatch on Xenon B becoming invisible. They're both annoying. Fix the mouse cursor emulation for controller becoming active in start menu after attempting to change the input mapping. Fix the cases of button auto repeat not working on the Linux when keeping joystick buttons pressed at E during menu navigation. These are all basic fixes, which is nice to see that they have already adjusted it. Fix the joysticks on Linux sometimes changing input mode incorrectly. So they are rather annoying. Now, as I mentioned before, there is a where basket. So I'll read it out fully. So this is another feedback request. Subordinates manual where basket. In version 7.0, a new feature allows users to select specific goods for a subordinate ship to trade. Previously, when adding a subordinate to a commander, the goods traded were selected automatically by the commander. Now players can access the ship's behaviour menu and manually can choose the words to trade, after first deselecting the automatic option. This enables players to exclude any goods they do not want the ship to trade. Note that at least one item must be selected. If multiple goods are chosen, the ship will search for trades based on this selection, prioritising goods that the station identifies as critical. Why is this useful? Well, for example, if you have a station, for example, let's take a hull part station, and you've got them wanting to do refined metals and energy cells as the two main components. The last thing, well, what I generally find when doing things like this, it's generally in bigger stations, but we'll use it as an example. When you have 10 traders, the station may find that energy cells are critical, dependent on how much you're using. So they'll all go out and look for energy cells, or there'll be a supply of energy cells available. That leaves the refined metals less of a commodity required, or they'll not look for the trade, or they'll find a better trade with the energy cells before they do with the whole parts. So to force it to buy the refined metals, you can remove the energy cells completely out of half of them. So you can go, right, you guys, you 5 there, you concentrate on energy cells, and you 5 concentrate on refined metals. You can then adjust it as you see fit to what the station requires and what it's going through. And it gives you a little bit more control over the autonomy of it, which I think is really good. That's a very basic analogy of it, but it does help you see that there are certain things that you can now do to give yourself that bit more of control over your commanders. You're basically saying, yes, you can control the ships, however I want these ships to do these certain things. And again, it's better in a bigger situation because obviously more a station may need 3 or 4 items, and you want half of them to do one half and one half to do another half, but you're happy for them to split between the two, which half of each does. So it just gives that a little bit more control over it, which is nice. I think the only bugbear I have right now with the beta is, well, it's not with the beta, it's with the last release, is that, as you can see even on the screen now, there's no seamless transition between the old components to the boron components, which I think should have been brought in on the last patch, and I expected some bits maybe might have been included on this, but that is either here or there. That's just one of my personal pet peeves. However, Public Beta 5 has brought in more changes as per requirement, which is great, and we get to see a few things. So I'm going to show off a few of these changes during the week, so make sure you do check that out. But hopefully you've enjoyed listening to the beta, and if you've got any questions or comments, then please let me know in the comment section below. I will try and get back to you on anything that may be misunderstood or you want some more details on. But if you haven't already done so, then make sure you do check out the feedback requests, and I shall speak to you all soon. Until next time, everybody, take care for now. I shall see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.